Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. I am Amy, along here with my sister Molly. We help high-achieving women increase their income, but most importantly, their impact. We are neighbors, sisters, and business partners. We have built 8-figure businesses together, traveled the world together, raised our children together, mentored thousands of men and women together, and it's all because we have a penthouse mindset. We aim for the top, and we show others how to empower themselves to peel back the layers and truly step into their greatness and calling. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. My name is Amy Mosser, along with my sister Molly Kroeker. We love helping high-achieving women increase their income, but most importantly, their impact. And we are here today because we are on fire. We just got back from a retreat in Mexico called Palmaïa, and it was absolutely incredible. I mean, it was nothing that I've ever expected. So we just wanted to share a bit with you because I know if you're like us, it's always been on our bucket list to attend a wellness retreat. And then to also be the ones leading them. So this was just so meaningful in so many ways. And it was a retreat that was vegan. It was mocktails, although we did sneak a little champagne and red wine.
We found the champagne.
We found it. We're in our champagne era. But it was just absolutely out of this world. So Molly, just take us a little bit about what your expectations were and what you found, and paint the picture for everybody listening, because I know everybody wants to be on a retreat at one point.
Yes, I think it's so great. If you haven't listened to the podcast back in December of 2024, it goes through a 2-day vision board activity. And at that time on my vision board, and I can see it because it's even the screen for my computer and my phone, is, a bunch of people doing yoga. And I thought, okay, I love yoga. I wouldn't call myself a yogi. I used to go 4 days a week, but I just, quite honestly, now that we live where we live, it's a good 30 minutes to get to a yoga studio. And so I haven't made it a priority other than Peloton yoga. So not quite as being in a class, but I also knew, and for a few years, I've been looking for a place for breath work and subscribing to emails and checking out private classes and going, like many of you come to our free master classes. And I would go to a master class on breathing. And the greatest thing is Palmaïa is small. It was in Playa del Carmen, so you can fly into Cancun. It's easy to reach. We're on the same time zone, which was lovely, but it was a small scale. It was beautiful, outdoor. It would not have been the same if it would have been I think of some spas, traditional spas in the US, but the thing that made this feel so amazing is, number one, you were immersed in nature. And I am a nature person. It felt like Costa Rica. And so it felt you were very much in the jungle. You were secluded, I would say. It was small. It wasn't your typical Mexico from spring break when you were, in college. It was not that. And it wasn't Mexico with your family either. It was quiet and restorative, and it was just relaxing. But we'd had opportunities to go to so many different yoga instructors and breath work. And the thing I love is the group we were with brought in an incredible yoga called Amplified Yoga. And it was awesome because it was all about movement and affirmations. So don't think down dog, Virapradasana 1, it wasn't any of that. It wasn't triangle. It was all it was almost like Tony Robbins. When you move and you say great things, right? You're calling in great things about yourself. Health in my body, love in my heart, peace in my mind. That was one way we would start each morning, and I loved it. So you'd have this incredible meditative service out on the ocean followed by the most incredible vegan breakfast. I'm not vegan, nor is Amy, but oh my gosh, I typically don't do dairy, but you didn't know what you were missing because it was so, so clean and wholesome and fresh and good. And then we would do this amplified yoga, and it got you in the right space. And then you could go to other classes. You could go to a vinyasa flow. You could go to breath work. You could go to one class we did 108 chants, I think. That you can tell I haven't practiced since I got home of doing that, but it just elevated you to a whole new level in your mind. And then it was beautiful. You could ride bikes along the trail, along the little brick pathway. And it was just every detail down to the bracelets that you wore to unlock the doors. They were just like these beautiful beaded. They reminded me of why can I not think of those? Oh my gosh, that you count the 108 on. Why can't I think of the yoga necklace that you wear as a bracelet?
Yeah, neither, because we're both in menopause here.
Well, I'm like, whatever that thing is, the mala beads. There we go.
I know.
Mala beads. Like that's what it reminded me of. And it was just refreshing. And I think the biggest thing for me, what happened there was not that I, got into this crazy, amazing fitness routine, but it was that I was there to release. And I knew that's what would happen, is not just restore my soul. And you guys, this is different than going to church. I would say this is like going to church times 10. So it did feel like worship in a way. It felt just very connected to the earth, connected to who I am, understanding who I am. Lots of journaling, lots of work on myself. I felt like it was a time to reflect and restore my soul. And I knew I needed that. I just thought, well, I can get that. Our kids are grown, I work from my house. I get that every day, right? But not like this, not like this. And so I think the last part of the puzzle for me was the release. And it was definitely during a session we had with Amplified Yoga, and it was just an amazing release. And then we went straight to this meditative sound concert, they called it. I would call it oh my gosh, a sound bath. Literally, I felt like it was a sound bath, but it was just one guy, and it was the most magical thing ever. You could hear the monkeys coming out of the trees. It was just absolutely, it was absolutely incredible. So it's so incredible that when we got done, I was unable to like move for about 30 minutes. I just sat there on my mat and didn't move. So it just was, for someone that's on the go and always in their mind and thinking about things and the next greatest thing and, just having fun. This was just such a way to restore your soul. That's what I would say. What did you experience?
Yes, I would say right when we pulled up, you could feel the difference in the energy. It is located underneath, there is some sort of a river that's like where some things converge and you can feel the energy. It is unlike anything I've ever felt. It's incredibly peaceful, positive. You can just feel it. It gave you goosebumps. And I think that was, again, for someone who I had to tuck my phone away. I did not look at my phone and I really wanted to be present. And I think that breath work I did when I walked through a divorce, yoga was very, very instrumental in restoring my soul and my healing. And I remember fighting it a bit because I am a Christian and I believe in God. And so there were some aspects that I had a hard time wrapping my mind around until I choose to use the word God when they maybe choose to use a different word. And so it made me it felt so comfortable. And that's how I merged with yoga as a Christian. It was my own story, my own paradigm, right? It's not right or wrong. It's just exactly what I told myself. But I knew I wanted to go on this retreat, and it was a lot of time alone. Molly and I are a package deal. So it was nice that there are beautiful little waterfalls and little tucked away plunge pools. We cold plunged for 2 minutes. That was the first time I'd ever done it. And it was so incredibly powerful to know, right, that I had the power within me to think my mind, to breathe slowly, to do my breath work, and to sit in there for 2 minutes was our goal. And that's what we did. And again, there are so many opportunities to do breath work, to do the yoga classes. We went with the Napoleon Hill Institute. We needed to say that at the very beginning. And we have some friends who are in the coaching program, and then others that just came along because they saw it online, which we're actually doing another one. The Institute is doing another one in October. So we keep it very small and intimate because we form relationships with one another that are just absolutely beautiful. Another one of my favorite things. And as we were in that, like Molly mentioned, the sound meditation, sound bath, and it just shows how when energy all converges, I looked up, there were trees, we were in the jungle, and there were four monkeys above us. I opened my eyes a little bit, and there they were, just these four monkeys. They were feeling the beautiful love and energy and came in to join the party. And it was so incredibly relaxing. During the evening, they have fire, a lovely bar area where they have mocktails. That may have been where we slipped some champagne in. Beautiful conversation, but just everything about it was just so relaxing, so relaxing. And I think that that was, from the bathtubs in the room with Epsom salt to the bicycles that you could ride on, the spa that many people
Oh
had.
my gosh, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes. The spa was the best one I've ever been to in my life. Literally, it was, you were in the jungle in your own personal room, and that was the best massage I'd ever had. I still felt like I had a massage even up until a few days ago. So for like days, usually that doesn't happen with me. You'll feel it for a few hours, but oh my gosh, it was magical. And then you went to this steam room afterwards. You swam around in a cenote with water just splashing down on you, which was magical. And then you ended in the steam room with lemongrass, and he carried in these rocks, and it was kind of like this clay hut. It was the most incredible experience oh my gosh, that was a treat. That was a treat. And at first I thought, oh, you don't need to do that. You have a great massage therapist back home. And I'm like, no, I'm going to gift myself this. And it was so, so worth it. So worth it.
Yeah, so it was an all-inclusive, which was, a taco truck with
Yeah.
vegan tacos and plantain nachos. And it was, like I could go on and on. This little truck, little cute, one of the silver trailers, what are those called?
Airstream.
An Airstream, and then picnic tables sitting right there. And you just sat and just enjoyed.
Yeah, just the most amazing seltzer water. You're like, it's seltzer water, but it was I've never had it before. I mean, this kind. It was so refreshing. It was like special, it
And
was,
you had to open it with a bottle opener, and the bottle opener was hanging from the tree with a string. And so you grab everything about it. Like, we just can't even do it justice. But there's just so much more to come with these retreats with Molly and I and Sisters Next Door. And then our cohort from the Napoleon Hill Institute, Think and Grow Rich Women's Collective. And so there's just, if you've ever thought about it, we have dreams of Italy, we have dreams of Europe, of Spain. All over. This is so easy to get to, particularly from the US. But we did have women from Norway there as well as the UK, right?
yeah, in
So,
Denmark. And it was, I mean, truly to think people flew that far to be with us. And I want to share this one story because I was there when it happened, is right before this meditative concert, they called it, which was 11 in the morning, right? Everyone had had great sleep. You're in bed early for those of you that want to be in bed early, although you can definitely stay out fireside and chat. But one of our friends, it was a couple that went, and before it started at 11, he just left his camera open. He didn't take a picture. But when we got done with this, he was showing the instructor something, and I could tell the instructor was like, wow, like, send me that picture. I've never seen that before. And Dave brought it over to us and showed Donovan and I, the amplified instructor that came to us from California. And it was so cool. It was a bright, if you could imagine this bright magenta picture, and it had purple in the middle, and it like seriously was like glowing. And when he showed us this, he's like, I've been chat GPTing it. I've been trying to figure out what it is. And, heart chakra is green. I thought, oh my gosh, maybe it's your heart chakra. But
it just appeared on his phone. He hadn't done
yeah,
anything
he
to
did
place
not take a
the phone face
picture.
up.
Like, his phone was just sitting open, like many of us adults. I know kids, they shut their phone off, right? My phone's always open. And the crazy thing is, every picture that Dave takes is always a live photo. This photo was not live. He didn't take it, and he grabs his phone, and that's that picture. And honestly, it's the presence of God. I mean, that's what it is think about in religion, like the color purple, and that's the color purple that it was. And it was just, God had his hand in all of this, and you could just feel the presence. And like Amy said, when you have those you can deny it, you can say, oh, that's made up, but just like special places, especially places with volcanoes or this convergence of rivers, I felt like this in Costa Rica as well. That's the feeling that you get. It's just like you're operating on sound bath mode 24/7, just like I'm so at peace, I'm so relaxed. And so when you come back to your life, right, it's just elevated. That's the biggest thing I would say, because I'm all about transformation. And I always say that I don't want to just have motivation and inspiration. I want transformation. And I would say this retreat did that, at least for me. It definitely was transformational because I'm elevated. I want to say I ascended to the next level. I leveled up. I mean, whatever word you want to use, that's how I felt when I came back. And that's how I'm living still.
I think for me, the biggest thing is that I feel just a bigger sense of self-love. I know who I am. I know whose I am. And this just reiterated it. I was, with the people that we are around. And even today, somebody said, you have such a quiet, confident power. And that used to bother me that I wasn't the funnest in the room or the loudest in the room. But I love that I have a quiet, confident power and that people sense that and confidence. And so I just came back again at 52 with just more and more appreciation for my life, more and more appreciation for myself and for trusting my gut, trusting my intuition, God, as I make decisions to move along in my life. And, the way we're living right now, there's very few of us on this road, and that's why it's so beautiful. It's the road less traveled, right? Doing the inner work, stepping out of the lane that, everybody else is in, because it's easy to do the things that everybody else in society does, right? But do what feels good to you. And for us, this relaxation, really getting honest with ourselves, the way that, being grateful for the past, even the pain, right? The pain is what has propelled us to where we are now. It's our testimony. Our tests are our testimony. And so that's why we're sharing this with you. But then to look forward and know that at 52, God isn't finished with us yet. We're just getting started. And this just was another reminder that I am just getting started and where I know God has me going with our coaching business and with our life in this podcast, and just sharing the vulnerability and the menopause and the hard, right? Because it's not all rainbows and gumdrops and unicorns. It's definitely, there's still challenges, but you know what? We just think, oh, good, there's something better coming along. They just don't even give it, you don't even give it a second chance when you get poked a little bit. It's like, oh, good, something else good is around the corner. So we're always so grateful to share this journey with you. And Molly and I wanted to hop on here and share this with you. So as always, before we leave, so I'll ask you, Molly, when we were there, we just kept thinking like penthouse vibes, penthouse vibes. So explain, what did those penthouse vibes, we say, what does living in the penthouse mean? So what did living in the penthouse mean in Mexico at our retreat? How are those vibes?
Palmaïa Penthouse.
Yeah,
We were, because we were on the top floor. Again, it's just, I think when you're in the penthouse, it's a calmness, it's a peace, and it's a knowingness. And kind of like Amy, it's like she said, it's not that it's without hard, but you're just unbothered by the hard. Because again, when you have faith and it doesn't ruffle you, it doesn't stop you. I think so much, just even coming home different of how reacting to an email, right? Versus responding, taking a few minutes to put into practice the breath work and the mindfulness before responding to a text, before responding to an email, before responding to yourself, right? So I feel like the Palmaïa Penthouse was just a bigger view of the world and how beautiful and magical it truly is. How about you? How would you answer?
Again, I think going off of that, it is a knowing, it is being unbothered. And I knew when I got involved in really doing the inner work that I wanted bigger conversations than all of that. Like, I love selling real estate, but then about roofs and houses and making offers, I wanted soulful conversations with people all around the world. And that's exactly what we got at this retreat. all around the world. That's the best thing about traveling. That was the best thing about this retreat. It's just soulful, beautiful conversations and getting to know someone on such a deep level and truly loving other human beings, like loving other human beings was just the greatest gift.
Yes, yes. Love starts with loving yourself, right? Loving yourself makes it easy to love others. And I think the last piece of advice I would say is look into people's eyes. We did that every single day without judgment, holding that gaze. And that is just a beautiful way. And I heard this said in church yesterday that even the average married person doesn't look into their partner's eyes for 60 seconds. That's just, if there's anything you can take away from this, like see people, make sure you're seeing people, but you're loving yourself. You're loving yourself. Truly, that's what it means to truly live in the penthouse, right? Loving yourself, because when you love yourself, you can love other people well. So there's more to come. We look forward, being involved in a retreat like this lets us know what we're capable of. And that's what this is all about, is I see it for us. I know a lot of you have been asking, when is Sisters Next Door doing a retreat? And we have lots of great ideas and saying yes to the next right step. And believe me, there will be some inspired action. You'll be seeing it from us. So definitely get in line and reach out to us. And as always, we have a wait list. Go to our website, www.sistersnextdoor. Join our wait list for our next class, A View from the Top. That's our signature program. But be watching, because who knows what we've got up our sleeve for when you least expect it. You're going to see something great from us. So Amy, do you have anything to wrap us up with?
No, just keep following your intuition, God. We all know we're all not done yet. We were put on this earth and we have a calling on our heart. Don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Have an amazing day. Hey guys, we'd love to have you join our wait list for our class, A View from the Top. There are going to be incredible women who are making incredible, decisive, clear decisions. The energy is fabulous. The view from the top is fabulous, and there's room for you at the top. Go to sistersnextdoor.com and join our wait list.